You noticed that her energy changed. Maybe the replies got shorter. Maybe she stopped initiating. Maybe the warmth that used to feel natural now feels uncertain. So you asked what was wrong. She said she was tired, or busy, or that nothing had changed. But the answer did not settle you. So you asked again in a slightly different way. Then you sent another message to explain what you really meant. And somehow, the more you tried to create closeness, the more distant she seemed to become. The problem is not that you wanted clarity. Wanting to understand where you stand is normal. The problem begins when clarity quietly turns into something else, an attempt to make another person remove your anxiety. The same question can serve two very different purposes. One question can be honest communication. You notice a change, describe it clearly, and ask what it means. You are looking for information, and you are willing to hear an answer you may not like. Another question can sound almost identical while doing a different emotional job. You are no longer asking because something new has happened. You are asking because the previous answer stopped calming you down. And the difference is not always the wording. It is the job you are asking the conversation to perform. You ask whether she is still interested. She says yes, but her behavior remains inconsistent. So you ask whether she is sure, then whether something happened, then whether there is someone else. At that point, you may feel like you are trying to understand the relationship, but emotionally, you may be asking her to make you feel safe again. A useful question to ask yourself is, am I asking because something new has happened, or because I need her answer to calm me down again? That does not make you weak. It makes you human. When an important relationship feels unstable, your mind starts searching for safety. You replay conversations. You study response times. You notice changes in tone, affection, and attention. Sometimes that anxiety is reacting to a real change, but anxiety is better at detecting uncertainty than explaining it. It may correctly tell you that something feels different. It cannot automatically tell you why. Her distance could mean she is losing interest. It could mean she is overwhelmed, avoiding conflict, unsure about compatibility, or dealing with something unrelated to you. This is where panic gets dangerous. It takes a feeling that may be valid and turns it into an explanation that may not be. Some people respond to uncertainty by moving closer. They want to talk immediately, solve the problem, and restore connection. Others respond by creating distance. They delay the conversation, become less expressive, or shut down because the emotional intensity feels overwhelming. Neither person has to be manipulating the other for this pattern to become destructive. You move toward her because distance feels threatening. She moves away because the intensity feels threatening. Her withdrawal increases your anxiety. Your pursuit increases her sense of pressure. Soon, both of you are trying to reduce discomfort in opposite ways. You are trying to feel safer through more contact. She is trying to feel safer through more distance. This is the pursuit and withdrawal cycle. Either partner can occupy either role. It is not a rule about men and women. There is also a difference between temporary space and chronic avoidance. Someone saying, "I'm too overwhelmed to talk well tonight. Can we return to this tomorrow?" is still participating in the relationship. Someone disappearing whenever clarity is requested and never returning to the conversation is doing something different. This is where you need to be honest without blaming yourself for everything. Your pursuit may be adding pressure, but it may not be the original reason she became distant. She may already be uncertain or emotionally disengaging. She may not know what she wants. She may be avoiding the discomfort of giving you an answer. Or she may be unable to offer the relationship you want. You cannot repair another person's uncertainty by finding the perfect wording. You also should not assume that if you had been calmer, more confident, or less available, everything would have worked. But you can take responsibility for your response. You can be correct that something has changed and still respond in a way that makes clarity harder to reach. Your anxiety may be reacting to a real problem. That does not mean every behavior produced by that anxiety will help you solve it. So what does healthy clarity look like when you are already emotionally activated? Start by regulating before you communicate. You do not need to become cold or pretend that you do not care. You do need to avoid starting the conversation while repeatedly checking your phone, imagining the worst, preparing accusations, or needing an immediate promise. Step away. Sleep before sending the late-night message. Write down what you actually want to know. Remove accusations and explanations you cannot prove. Then ask one clear question. Describe what you have observed. State your position. Ask directly. You might say, "I've noticed that our communication has changed over the last 2 weeks. I'm still interested in continuing this, but I want to understand whether you feel the same." That is different from asking 5 emotional questions at once. A clear question gives the other person a real opportunity to answer. Then listen without negotiating against the answer. If she says, "I'm unsure," believe that she is unsure. If she says, "I'm not ready," do not argue about why she should be ready. If she says she needs distance, you can ask what that means in practical terms. But you cannot force uncertainty to become commitment. An answer can be painful and still be useful. After the conversation, watch the pattern. Does she initiate? Does communication become more consistent? Does she return to unresolved conversations? Does she make concrete plans? Does the effort become mutual? One warm message does not erase weeks of avoidance, but one delayed reply does not prove emotional detachment either. The pattern matters more than the moment. Then set a boundary. A boundary is not a threat, a punishment, or a strategy to make her afraid of losing you. It describes what you are willing to participate in. You can say, "I respect that you need time, but I'm not comfortable remaining in an undefined relationship indefinitely." You do not need a universal deadline. A long-term relationship, a new dating situation, and a temporary conflict are not the same. But you do need to decide how long uncertainty remains understandable before it becomes a way of life. And while you wait, stop using contact as anxiety relief. Do not send another message just because silence feels unbearable. Return to your sleep, work, responsibilities, friends, and the parts of your life that existed before this uncertainty took over. Not to make her miss you, not to look more attractive, not to trigger her fear of losing you. Do it because your life should not remain suspended while another person decides whether she wants to participate in it. If respectful communication repeatedly produces vagueness, avoidance, broken promises, and no mutual effort, the healthier decision may be to stop pursuing the relationship instead of continuing to pursue a better explanation. Sometimes the clarity you want will not arrive in a satisfying conversation. Sometimes it arrives through the pattern. It arrives when someone repeatedly avoids the question. When words and behavior continue to contradict each other. When you keep asking for a relationship that the other person keeps declining to build. You do not have to become emotionally detached to protect your dignity. You do not have to punish her, disappear strategically, or pretend the relationship meant nothing. You can care deeply and still accept what the pattern is showing you. Ask for clarity once with honesty. Then let behavior answer the part that words cannot. If this helped you understand what has been happening, subscribe to Thorne Psychology. We talk about these patterns without games, resentment, or manipulation.